Welcome to Business Influencers. Hope everyone is having a great week. The month of October is off to a fantastic start, and this is an exciting time as we enter as we are in the middle, getting close to the middle of Q4. And this is a great quarter to really close strong the year, and also the opportunity to start planning effectively for 2023. We highly encourage those that are new to Business Influencers to reach out to us at Chris@ChristopherSalem.com. We'd be more than happy to look over what you have been working on, how you're going to close strong for 2022, and then how we can help prepare you to have your biggest and better year in 2023. Reach out to us at Chris@ChristopherSalem.com. Again, we'd like to thank you, all the listeners, for tuning in each and every week. You've made Business Influencers into the show that it has become since we started almost exactly a year ago here on TALRadio. And we're so excited that because of you, we are able to bring in guests that share their subject matter expertise, allowing you to take your business and your personal success to the next level. Feel free to reach out to us with any comments at talradio.org, or feel free to drop me a line again at Chris@ChristopherSalem.com. Today's show is being brought to you by Alumni Direct. Alumni Direct is a new social media community platform dedicated to bringing alumni together from all different generational types, and an opportunity to either rekindle old relationships or perhaps meet new people for the first time. It takes all the noise out of social media. No more social media notifications. You get to come in a genuine, authentic way and connect on your time. This is a membership program, so it offers a wide array of different services that you would normally not get on your own. Check them out at alumnidirect.com. That's alumnidirect.com. Well, we got a great show for you today, and I am so excited because this is someone that is a personal friend of mine. And when it comes to leadership, she is the person to go to. It's called Develop Game-Changing Leadership. And she also runs a successful event each and every year, Leadership Summit America, which you're going to find out about the event coming up here. It's very close now, about less than 2 weeks here now from doing this show. So you can get some information about that event if you happen to be in the Albany area, but it's not too late to even book a flight to get out for this event. And I'll allow her to share that information here shortly. Before we just introduce Sharon Burstein, I want to be able to give you a little background about her. She is a global leadership image, a motivational speaker, award-winning author, executive leadership trainer, and consultant. Through her companies and professional career, she has worked in all facets of strategic marketing, corporate communications, event management, public affairs with hundreds of thousands of people. Her work has been recognized as being innovative, creative, and unique. She has designed several campaigns and programs to enhance branding, increase market share. Throughout her career, she has been responsible for creative marketing development of media, special events, PR, television, and film, and has developed and produced and marketed diverse television programs and specials for a variety of demographic markets. She is a top global motivational speaker and trainer in leadership image, teamwork, confidence, and success, including innovation, and a creator of the Leadership Summit America, Olympic Leadership Bootcamp, and uniquely, uniquely you, Putting Women First, the Power of Possible, signature thought conferences, and the publisher of her latest project, Lake George Living Magazine. So you're going to want to get your hands on that. And without further ado, we welcome Sharon Burstein to the show. Sharon, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Chris. It's wonderful to be back with you on your show. Thank you for having me on as your guest.
It was such a pleasure, and you always deliver so much value, and I'm so looking forward to the upcoming summit, which you're going to be able to share here shortly with everybody that's listening here and those that will be listening later. So let's dive right into the topic. When we look at developing a game-changing leadership, what would that be? When we look at leadership today, what has it evolved into, and how can someone really develop that game-changing style that's going to take their company, regardless of size, their personal success to the next level?
Well, Chris, it's not one size fits all for sure. And it each is unique to your brand and culture. So everybody has different leadership styles, leadership images. And when I work a lot with corporations and leaders right from the beginning, whether with the head, whether it's the CEO, with the chairman of the board, and bringing that right on through. And I like to call it lots of times brand culture, kind of a run-on sentence, brand culture, because, a lot of what you're doing also with your leadership is having the vision, but it's also communicating to everybody. And it's not a secret yet. Many companies decide to make all of this a big secret with silos. And really what you're doing is want to build the brand. What is your brand? What do you stand for as a company? Because that has to be communicated from the top down and bottom up, and of course all around. And then the culture. What is the kind of culture that you want? You want something that's creative, that's embracive, that takes imagination and really takes innovation forward. You're not looking for toxicity and closed mindsets. But as we all know, there are many companies, small, medium, and unfortunately large, that have those. So, that's what we're doing, is really taking people to the next level. And it's also, as you know, because you've been one of our treasured speakers, you're now back for year 3 as a treasured alum speaker. Yay. That we're really energizing people to think differently, to think outside the box, how they can grow themselves and pass it on. And that's why also we have a lot of companies that bring whole teams to this event.
Wow, I love it. And when you talked about what you had talked about, creating this, culture. It's like that if we're going to create an image for our brand, that reflects outward, whatever that may be to your audience that you serve. From what I heard, that's got to start from within. You got to be able to build that culture, that you build this unity and this connection, this engagement that fosters this innovation and creativity. If that's going to reflect outward, would that be safe to say?
Absolutely. And actually, Chris, each of us has our own brand and our own culture within us. And sometimes I'm working with people and you're looking, if you own a company, then of course, what your brand and your culture is also something that you're looking to take and push it forward. So that's part of the elements, trying to get people to also look at leadership, which is visionary. Where the difference between are you a leader? Are you a boss? I mean, we need people who are visionary, people who take those visions and make them concrete. And then there can be several layers and steps below. Each plays its role. You need everybody to make it work. But of course, communication is also key.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because communication is always the thing that it can't be based on assumption and speculation, but how we can make sure that we're communicating effectively, literally active listening with each other, the people that are involved, whether if you're a one-person show or if you have hundreds of people in your organization or even thousands. That communication is vital if we're going to be able to really elevate that leadership, build that culture, and project that image outward to the audiences you serve. And then how do we communicate to them?
Well, I think you said a key word here, Chris, and that is listening.
Yeah.
Because the most important element about communication is listening. As I like to say, speak softly, listen loudly. The question is, you may be speaking, but are people listening? And further, are they not only listening, are they understanding? Because, there's that old telephone game that sometimes when you say something, by the time it goes around, it's a whole different thing. So sometimes, even though you think you have clarity, and I love that word clarity, sometimes it's a good clarity question just to go back and ask people to reiterate what the directive was so that everybody understands it in the same way. So they're not only listening, but they're understanding.
Yeah.
And, there's no one way that's right with communication, but communication is key. You can't assume that people are understanding what the next steps are and what's in your head. That needs to be communicated calmly, strategically, and most of all, effectively.
Yeah. I would say that, what you just said, that would you be safe to say that communication is an ongoing process? I mean, it's not something we master or just get really good at it right away. It's something that evolves over time. And as you bring new people in and helping that, how we communicate to one person doesn't mean it's going to be the same to another. We have different generational types. We live in a world of diversity
Different
now, and
cultures.
all different factors that we have to be able to communicate in different and more effective ways.
Chris, it's not only the words, because even if we're speaking with words, I mean, certain cultures interpret
Yeah,
words differently for sure, but it's also the cadence, how you speak,
yeah,
the voice level, the temperate, how quickly, and where you put your emphasis. Even saying the same sentence and with a 5-word sentence and emphasizing different words differently can give a whole entirely different meaning to the same sentence. And
yeah,
it's going to be received and interpreted differently according to different people.
yeah. So,
So
so
words matter, and how you use your words really matter. So not only with communication, but another thing is sometimes people get caught up in the heat of a moment and will expound, words. Well, first of all, words once expressed can never be taken back. And certainly in social media context, they're going to live on forever. So good rule of thumb, and I know you and I've spoken about this, is that if you have a questionable comment or anything that you want to say that could be interpreted possibly in a harsh way or a different way. Sometimes I tell people if you're writing it or if you're going to speak it, wait a day.
yeah,
Wait a day, sit on it. Don't be reactionary. Really think about it and go back and revisit those words or what you have written. And chances are, probably 90% of the time, you're either going to change what you said or even just say, I don't need, no, no.
but that's so true, because again, now you're responding, and we don't. It's always that thing. We don't have to respond to something immediately. I mean, if it requires that we have to step back, even if it's for 24 hours, or God forbid, it could be a few days. But if we respond, we're more likely to be more effective in terms of connecting with that person. It shows that we made the effort to respond in a way that we could find resolution, or if there was an issue, or to say the thing that was going to best move whatever you were working on forward, instead of reacting. And now we're reacting out of an emotion that could be negative, and it's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to add more fire, gas to the fire, so to speak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the other key is, leaders or whoever's in charge have great ideas and they're visionary, but we don't have all the answers. We don't have everything. And it takes everybody. Everybody plays a role. And lots of times I like to call it mudslinging to a degree. Throw it on the wall and see what sticks. I mean, there's a time to execute a directive, but if we're in a creative, innovative process, then if we throw one idea on that wall and you say, that's great, but what if we add this? And being open to the possibilities to making one idea or concept, whether it's a direction, whether it's a project, whether it's an initiative, a collaboration, whatever it is, you know, nothing gets done individually. Success is a team sport. Together, everybody achieves more, as we all know. So often leaders get caught up with the sound of their own voice in silos that they don't take into consideration the experience and voices and listening to others.
Yeah. So powerful. And I know that you talk a lot about this, and when you talk at corporations, and you're involved in other different types of organizations, and you even do this with youth, youth leaders, even as far down as like the high school level. I mean, I know you've had high school students that are taking the initiative to become leaders, that you have at your Leadership Summit America. Talk about the importance of that at that age, developing that, kind of planting that seed. You're not telling them what to do, but you're sharing and empowering them to kind of own that for themselves.
Well, Chris, one of my favorite questions to ask to every audience, wherever I am around the world, is who here was given great leadership skills growing up?
Mhm.
For instance, I was at the New Jersey court system last week in a group of about 500, no hands up. And that's normal. There are very few. So, one of the things that I like to do is really work to develop leadership skills. We start lots of times with our high schools, but play it backwards. Doesn't matter what your age is, even if you're 5 years old, you are a leader above somebody who's like 3 years old because you've got more experience in whatever it is. So we've all had mentors in our lives, somebody who believed in us before we believed in ourselves. So as much as we are looking for it going forward, we also have to use it playing backward. And I love working with youth. And one of the elements of Leadership Summit America is the Education Leaders Scholars Program, where we invite a number of schools, usually 4 or 5 schools, usually rural, or we take inner city type schools, charter schools, kids who certainly would not have the opportunity to be exposed to people like yourself and a lot of the other Olympians and people who are just paragons in their industry, and not only to hear them speak, but have one-on-one opportunities to put Olympic medals on, and watching their faces sometimes when they are now having a conversation or sitting at lunch or dinner with somebody that they've read about and could not believe that they're sitting there with. It's wonderful. It's eye-opening. And what we're looking for is creating aha moments, because you never know what's going to connect with anybody, regardless of their age or where they are.
Yeah.
But when we can give opportunities to youth to really spark and ignite that possibilities of life, then we are really giving lifelong gifts.
I agree, because like you said, in a rural community, they might have only so many resources. If it's an inner city, they may have lack of resources, or just that kid, would just never in their normal environment up to that point have access to these resources. And this is an
No, they
opportunity to
don't.
change their lives and start where
You
they
know,
get
it's
to use
interesting.
that.
What's interesting is when we have the kids, because I bring them up on stage, we talk about their dreams and aspirations. But as we bring those kids together, and then we later have administrators come up on stage and talk about their schools, because all the kids being underage need to be accompanied by administration. It's interesting how kids think that other kids in other types, if you're rural, you don't think inner city kids have these kinds of problems. City kids don't think that rural or suburban kids have those problems. And yet, when you bring them together, they find out that yes. And then when they talk to adults, they find out that their generation isn't the only one who's had this,
Yeah.
that, different ways of problem solving, but it's also connecting them. And it's just so fun to watch the light bulbs going off all the time.
Yeah, no, I love that, and I love those aha moments. And I know last year I saw that, at the event you had last year, and that was kind of like the first year that, we started, with COVID, and we got, people were coming back, and we saw the signs that people were ready to embrace in person again. And so excited that you do that. Some of the things, what would be some of the things that you could share from, and, going back when we started, Sharon, from an image standpoint, like how image plays an important role? Because it's not just what we say, it's how we show up, how our image looks, whether if that's in person, whether if that's in our marketing, on video, whatever that may be.
Well, you're so true. My expertise globally is rests a lot with leadership image, how we walk, talk, dress, and communicate. It's top to bottom, bottom to top, inside to outside, and all around. And it's not dressing for the job necessarily that you have, but the one that you want. And of course, different industries have different styles. But there is never an excuse, regardless of your socioeconomics, for being neat and clean and punctual and on time, being respectful. So we talk about all of those things. There's a time to be formal, a time to be informal, but unfortunately, a lot of our society has gone overboard also with informality, and people don't understand when they need to dress, speak, communicate different ways, table manners, how they just hand gesturings, body language, all of that fits in. And your leadership image really equates to about 80% of your success as a leader. And if you are using all the wrong things or saying the right things, but you're looking the wrong way and addressing it, and most of all, if you do not believe in yourself. So step number one is believing in you and the person you are. Because honestly, as you know, Chris, and and I really want everybody in your audience to understand this, that if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in
That's
you.
so true.
You know,
That's so
everybody
true.
can spot a phony, everybody, even children, if you don't have that eye contact, looking straight in the eye, smiling, but really focusing on that person, giving somebody their undivided attention. Those are all key elements. And it's interesting watching somebody deliver something from the beginning and then training and going through a lot of leadership image training and really working that with them and finding how the results change in every department in every way. And it's not rocket science, but it's really being aware, opening yourself, and understanding. But it all starts within and having the confidence and believing in yourself.
No, I love that. And, and learning to believe in yourself, like what you've done with, again, these youth, going back to the youth again, where perhaps they're at an awkward age where maybe they don't believe in themselves at that point. They don't even know maybe who they are. But some of them, I can tell you from last year, definitely knew who they were. They were some bright, bright kids, and I was quite impressed. But you give them like an opportunity to expand on that and to grow. And how our confidence of grows is over time. It evolves, and when we can really put that image in the forefront, like you said, it keeps that consistency going with our confidence. So I think that's so important.
Exactly. You've got to be the whole package. It's inside, outside, top to bottom, all around, and really knowing how to dressing for your figure, for your age, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, and behavior. What is appropriate behavior in different situations, in business situations, in social situations. A lot of people you would think learn it growing up, but increasingly we're finding that, especially with our kids, and of course they're coming up through high school and college, and if they're not getting it at home, where are they going to get it?
Yeah.
So that's another reason why we have these programs, and I work a lot with one-on-one with people, or sometimes people get promoted and they've been very successful at what they do. But now you put them in a new situation where they may now be managing others. Now, they don't have any management experience. Maybe they were in sales and they were great in sales, but they don't know how to manage people. So you're setting somebody up for failure if you haven't given them the skill sets to help them be successful.
Yeah.
So another thing that I really work a lot with companies and organizations, and I would encourage anybody listening and watching this, is when you're looking to create a new position, or if you're looking to bring somebody along, start a few months out. If somebody is on your watch list, if you're doing it internally, and start giving them the tools, send them to conferences. You can learn a lot of different things, but you should be, if you're going to promote this person because they've done a great job, then you should be giving them the skill sets that they need so that they can hit the ground running and really be the success that you want, and certainly they want, because nobody wants to be a failure at anything. I mean, I don't think you hire somebody and somebody says, "Oh, yes, I want to be a complete failure." And I really, so there are things that management and leaders can do to really stack the deck to bring in greater success. And even if I don't have that success, I'm not an engineer, but if I'm creating something that needs engineering and I'm bringing somebody who doesn't have that expertise, well, then I owe it to them to get them that training and education so
Yeah.
that they can develop that skill set and have confidence in that skill set that will help take them to the next level and also work to fulfill the vision that we have for what we're looking to achieve.
Wow. You shared so much powerful information in this short period of time, Sharon, and I know we're near the end of our show here, and I want to be able to kind of share that if you can share some information, not only on how people can get in contact with you, but even, last minute, there are people that can still take advantage of 2022 Leadership Summit America. And even if that doesn't mean they have to be in the immediate area, they can, there's still time that they can get there from wherever they are in the United States, Canada.
Absolutely.
If you could share some information on some of the key highlights in it, like in a minute, minute and a half, that you could share that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Yes, this is the 7th Leadership Summit America. And each year we bring together top iconic leaders and speakers from all over the country. And people come from all over the country to be here with us, whether it's an entrepreneur to senior CEOs and chairmen. Usually we have people from about 17 states and about 28 or 29 different industries spanning all ages and cultures. And if you go on my website, Sharon Burstein, SharonBurstein.com, you can get onto Leadership Summit America. You can also Google Leadership Summit America. It should come right up. You can also call us at 518-339-4027. For those of you who are flying in, we hold this event, which is at a wonderful, gorgeous property called the Desmond, which is about a mile from the airport, only about 5 miles from the train station if you're coming from Boston or New York or somewhere that you wish, and it's near every major road system. But it's the content. I designed this event to be very different than anything I've ever spoken at or attended, because as you know, Chris, and this is what I love about you too, you're a connector. Leadership Summit America is not only about developing your skill set, it's connecting you to the speakers and to other people in the room, because everybody who's in that room is like-minded. You share that. And you really want to be able to bring these types of people together to form friendships and relationships that can help propel them forward, and formulate, if they have questions, that they share that in common, that they can do that. But these relationships last, and that's why we have almost a 50% return rate. I would say that there are almost 50% of the people who attend, and they may not attend every year, but they have attended at least more than
I've been there 3 years, and I always see the very similar, if not the same faces, and then new people.
Mhm.
So I could attest being there for 3 years in a row, and that is so, so true. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule, because I know you have a lot going on, getting ready for this event that's taking place shortly. And I know you run a magazine and you're closing out on the latest issue of Lake George Lifestyle Magazine. Another thing that, again, people you should check out. Even if you don't live in Lake George, it's still a great place, because it's a great destination to visit during the summertime, or even if you're brave enough, you can get up there
all
even in
year.
fall and winter, right? So thank you
We
so
have
much.
ice castles coming up. So no, it's wonderful. Chris, thank you for having me as a guest on your show. I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks, and to all your listeners and viewers, please join us. And, Chris, you are the expert and you are the best host ever. So thank you kindly for having me on your show. I always love our time together.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you so much for being here. And listeners, thank you so much for taking the time each and every week to join us here at Business Influencers. Again, we're committed to bringing people like Sharon in each and every week, sharing their words of wisdom and insights. And again, don't forget, there's still time to get to Leadership Summit America. Go to the website that Sharon gave you, call her on the phone. This is a golden opportunity that can change your life from a leadership standpoint, to elevate your company, your business, or whatever it means to you when it comes to leadership, to that next level. You get to access a lot of people, and they're all approachable for you to pick their brain. Till then, everybody, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.